It is our choices, Harry, that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities. Never trust anything that can think for itself, if you can't see where it keeps its brain. Fear of a name only increases fear of the thing itself. When in doubt, go to the library. I'll be in my bedroom, making no noise and pretending I'm not there. You will also find that help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it. Honestly, if you were any slower, you'd be going backward. Fame is a fickle friend, Harry. Celebrity is as celebrity does. Remember that. Hearing voices no one else can hear isn't a good sign, even in the wizarding world. Snape was looking as though the first person to ask him for a love potion would be force-fed poison. Books can be misleading. Phoenixes burst into flame when it is time for them to die and are reborn from the ashes. You want fame. You have to be prepared for a long, hard slog. You will find that I will only truly have left this school when none here are loyal to me. You're the one who is weak. You will never know love or friendship, and I feel sorry for you. Things we lose have a way of coming back to us in the end, if not always in the way we expect. Indeed, your failure to understand that there are things much worse than death has always been your greatest weakness. The fact that you can feel pain like this is your greatest strength. Facing this stuff in real life is not like school. In school, if you make a mistake, you can just try again tomorrow, but out there, when you're a second away from being murdered or watching a friend die right before your eyes, you don't know what that's like. Some wounds run too deep for the healing. We can't choose our fate, but we can choose others. Be careful in knowing that. Indifference and neglect often do much more damage than outright dislike. Anything's possible if you've got enough nerve. Ask us no questions, and we'll tell you no lies. His priority did not seem to be to teach them what he knew, but rather to impress upon them that nothing, not even knowledge, was foolproof. Thoughts could leave deeper scars than almost anything else. First sign of madness: talking to your own head. You know, Minister, I disagree with Dumbledore on many counts, but you cannot deny he's got style. We've all got both light and dark inside us. What matters is the part we choose to act on. That's who we really are. Wit beyond measure is man's greatest treasure. Fools who wear their hearts proudly on their sleeves, who cannot control their emotions, who wallow in sad memories and allow themselves to be provoked this easily. Weak people, in other words. The mind is not a book to be opened at will and examined at leisure. Thoughts are not etched on the inside of skulls to be perused by an invader. The mind is a complex and many-layered thing, Potter, or at least most minds are. It's best to know what the enemy is saying. Young people are so infernally convinced that they are absolutely right about everything. You care so much you feel as though you will bleed to death with the pain of it. Youth cannot know how age thinks and feels. But old men are guilty if they forget what it was to be young. Just because you have the emotional range of a teaspoon doesn't mean we all have. Dumbledore would have been happier than anybody to think that there was a little more love in the world. When you have seen as much of life as I have, you will not underestimate the power of obsessive love. Dumbledore had not raised his voice. He did not even sound angry, but Harry would have preferred him to yell. This cold disappointment was worse than anything. Age is foolish and forgetful when it underestimates youth. Ah, Harry, how often this happens, even between the best of friends. Each of us believes that what he has to say is much more important than anything the other might have to contribute. And he knew that at that moment, they understood each other perfectly. And when he told her what he was going to do now, she would not say, "Be careful," or "Don't do it," but she would accept his decision because she would not have expected anything less of him. Greatness inspires envy. Envy engenders spite, and spite spawns lies. Because to confide a part of your soul to something that can think and move for itself is obviously a very risky business. We must try not to sink beneath our anguish, Harry, but battle on. It is the unknown we fear when we look upon death and darkness, nothing more. There are many more terrible things than physical injury. I make mistakes like the next man. In fact, being, forgive me, rather clever than most men, my mistakes tend to be correspondingly huger. Dumbledore says people find it far easier to forgive others for being wrong than for being right. It was important, Dumbledore said, to fight and fight again and keep fighting, for only then could evil be kept at bay, though never quite eradicated. The prophet is bound to report the truth occasionally, said Dumbledore, if only accidentally. Voldemort himself created his worst enemy, just as tyrants everywhere do. Do you have any idea how much tyrants fear the people they oppress? All of them realize that, one day, amongst their many victims, there is sure to be one who rises against them and strikes back. You are protected, in short, by your ability to love.